I want to welcome everyone to today's webinar. We have a really special guest, Larry Goins. I've known Larry for over a decade. He has several real estate businesses, including a radio show. There isn't a lot that I don't think hasn't seen in real estate. I do want to say though, however, CamaPlan does not endorse, recommend, or give any investment advice. Welcome, Larry.
Man, it's good to talk to you. How have you been?
Everything's been great. How about yourself?
Man, I am doing fantastic. I'm really excited that you're having me on again. I really appreciate it. And we got a lot of cool stuff to share, and thanks a lot for having me on. Yeah, man, we do go way back, don't we?
Absolutely. Been probably over a decade now.
Yeah, at least over a decade, and been hanging out with your dad and your mom for even longer than that.
Absolutely. I hear you even have a granddaughter and grandson these days.
I do, man, I do. That's really exciting. That's a whole nother chapter, and so it's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it.
That's great. So, I do want to mention another thing about Larry, and just since I've known him for quite a long time, his personal business model is people and principles before profit, and I think Larry holds true to that in everything that he does.
Well, thanks, man. I wish I could say that I coined that phrase, but I first heard it from Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, which is the only fast food restaurant that's closed on Sunday. So that should tell you a little bit about their philosophy.
Absolutely. Yep. Very familiar with them and their business model. But let's go ahead and get right into this. This is a pretty interesting topic that we're going to be talking on here today about real estate day trading. Let's start with that. What is real estate day trading, Larry?
Sure, man. Well, it's a fancy word I came up with for wholesaling, okay? Buying and selling houses the same day using the internet. In fact, I wrote a book called Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading, and it's really how we buy and sell houses using the internet. And that's what we do. It's our business model. I don't teach anything that I don't do myself, and I only teach what works right now in today's market. And I remember back years ago when somebody started talking about virtual investing. I'm like, virtual investing? Man, I've already been doing that for about 5 or 6 years, you know.
I mean, I have heard people out there refer to you as the original virtual investor. Why don't you
Yeah,
tell
it's
us about
funny.
that?
Well, I've heard that too, you know. I heard that too. I remember back the deal that got it all started was, we do a lot of marketing, and and we do a lot of marketing to make the phone ring. And I remember this lady called. She was passing through town, and she saw some of my advertising, and she said, "I've got a house, and it's rented out for about $350 a month. It wasn't very much, but it's a little two-bedroom, one-bath brick ranch house, and it was like 4 hours away from where I live, right? So I actually started to go down there one day, and I ended up something happened to the vehicle or something. I couldn't make it, so I told her to send me some pictures. And Ryan, I got to tell you, man, this was back when you remember those little cheap cameras you could buy at Walmart or Walgreens and CVS that you take pictures and then you take the camera in. It was like in a little box, and you take the camera in, and then they develop the film. Remember that?
Yep, the throwaway cameras. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it was one of those kind of cameras, and what they did was they got one of those cameras, took the picture, sent it to me. I had to go down to CVS just to get the film developed, right? So, so they sent me those pictures, and I'm like, okay, I'll buy this house, and they were asking $15,000 for it at the time, but I made her a ridiculously low offer of $2,500, right? I'm a firm believer if you're not embarrassed by your offer, it's too high. So, we went back and forth, and she ended up calling me back and said, Larry, if I can have my money by next week, I'll take $3,000. And that's when I said, okay, send me some pictures. So anyway, I got the pictures. I looked at it, and I'm thinking, okay, now I got this house. What am I going to do with this house? So I started sending out an email to several realtors. I said, look, I've got this house. I said, I'll take $15,000 for it, and I'll pay you a $3,000 real estate commission if you sell it for me. Well, that's the equivalent of a buyer's agent selling $100,000 house, right? If they make 3% or $3,000. So one realtor emailed me back and said, hey, for $12,000, I'll just buy it myself. And so I said, okay, get everything ready. And I get a FedEx in the mail with paperwork. I signed the paperwork, and he had a return FedEx envelope, and I sent it back. And then a day later, I get another FedEx with my check. And I'm like,
Wow.
wow. I'm like, wait a minute. I just bought this house, never met the seller. I sold this house, never met the buyer, who was also a realtor. I never went to the closing. And back then, Ryan, I did all my business by phone, fax, right? Nobody uses fax anymore. Phone, fax, FedEx. We don't even use FedEx anymore. We use DocuSign, right?
Yep.
But I did phone, fax, FedEx, email, and internet. I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this again. And this was way back. I mean, this is probably 2002 or 2003, something like that. Is that crazy or what?
That's crazy. It's a great story, though.
That was my very first virtual deal. And I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this again. So I started reading all I could on technology and learning and understanding technology. And, I'm a simple kind of person. I don't have a college degree or anything. I'm just a high school graduate, but I like to study. I like to learn things. And I've probably spent more money at this point on my education than most Harvard and Yale graduates combined, right?
I believe
Uh,
it. You're always
yeah,
learning.
I still spend about $35,000 a year on my own education, even still to this day, and I'm 58 years old, right? So I am a firm believer in education, but I started studying technology and figuring out how to relate it to real estate. And, this was way back when we weren't even doing webinars. We were doing teleconferences back then, right?
Yep.
So I learned how to do that, and I came up with this whole real estate day trading thing, and I wrote a book called Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading, and you can find it wherever books are sold. It's in bookstores everywhere, on Amazon or wherever. But at the end of this training, we'll give away a free copy if you want.
Awesome. That's great. So let's tell the audience, I mean, after you've studied this technology, how do you find your properties now to day trade?
That's a great question. There's so many different ways to find properties, right? In fact, I think in the book I outline about 67 different ways to find properties. And you can do direct mail. A lot of people do direct mail. We do direct mail. You can do pay-per-click or PPC advertising. That's like where you see ads on Google. There's Facebook ads, Facebook marketing, social media. There's posting to social media groups. There's LinkedIn groups, LinkedIn ads. Now what a lot of people are doing is cold calling. You can buy a list. Check this out. You can buy a list, a direct mail list. You can send that list to what's called an appending company. They will append it or upload that list to their data sources, and they'll find phone numbers for those people at those addresses. And then you take those phone numbers and you put them in a dialer called Mojo Sales, mojosales.com, SELLS.com, and then it will dial 2 or 3 numbers at a time until it gets somebody on the phone, and you're just cold calling them. Hey, I noticed you own a property. I just thought I would reach out to you and see if you had an interest in selling it. No, thank you, bye. Right? And you just go on to the next one. You can even have a virtual assistant, a VA in the Philippines doing that for you. And nobody even knows they're in the Philippines or that you're paying them only a couple of dollars an hour, right? The other cool thing you can do, you can take that same list and you can upload it to Facebook. And then what you do, your same direct mail list, let's say you have 5,000 people, you upload it to Facebook and you create what's called a custom audience. In other words, Facebook is only going to show your ad to people who have an account with either that address or that phone number that you have, right?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
called a custom audience. So if you're sending them a postcard, right, and you're sending them a postcard, you're cold calling them, and then they get on Facebook and they're like, wow, here are these people again. These people are everywhere. Maybe I should give them a call, right? So that's just a few little things with technology that we do now that weren't available back when we started.
Right. Understood. So how do you analyze these deals so fast? I know you do multiple deals. What do you do to analyze them?
Yeah, well, we have several different ways we do that. Um, I do the traditional way, which is very simple. You take the ARV or after repaired value times zero point 0.7 minus repairs minus what you want to make if you're a wholesaler, and then that equals the maximum you can pay. Now, if it's a rental property, I try to keep it really really simple. I buy my rental properties where I can sell them at or close to where rents are 2% per month. Let me tell you how to figure that. 2% per month. Let's say a house is rented out for $1,000. $1,000 would represent 2% per month of a $50,000 sale price. So if a house is rented out for 1,000, I'm going to pay around 50. If it's rented out for 1,000 a month, I'm going to pay around $50,000. If it's rented out for 500 a month, I'm going to pay around $25,000. Right? We
Right.
just bought 6 houses about an hour away from us, a package of 6 houses. We paid $30,000 for all 6 houses, and they were each rented out for $350 per month. Right? At my math, at 2% per month, that would be a purchase price of about $17,500 per house. However, I paid $5,800 per house on that. That's pretty wild, huh?
No, definitely is. What area was that in? South Carolina?
Yeah, it was in Lancaster, South Carolina, just south of where I am. I'm right across the state line from Charlotte, North Carolina. In I'm right across the state line from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. Well, while we're on that topic, why don't you tell us how you do your due diligence on long distance properties?
Oh, that's really good. That's a good one. So we buy all of our stuff over the phone. Okay, we make the offers, get them under contract. When we make the offers, negotiate the deal over the phone. All right. And then once we get an offer accepted, then we either send out a mobile notary or do a DocuSign or something like that and get it under contract. Our goal is to have them sign on the dotted line within 2 hours of them saying yes. Okay. So once we get them signed on the dotted line, then we send somebody out or go out to take pictures. We take pictures of everything, every room, any repair areas, holes in the floor, holes in the wall, whatever, all mechanical items, all 4 sides of the house, any outbuildings, and a street view both ways, right? And I mean, we're getting more pictures than an appraiser takes, right? So we take all those pictures, we get all those pictures, and then when we get those pictures in the office, we do a huddle. We're looking on the computer, looking at the pictures. We do a huddle and determine, well, do we need to do one of three things? Move forward, cancel the contract, or renegotiate the deal, right?
Hmm.
And in addition to that, in addition to getting pictures and all that stuff, we're going to also do some other due diligence where we're going to drive the street online, look at the neighborhood. We're going to pull comps. We're going to pull rent comps. We're going to look at the crime in the area, and make sure that it's not in a war zone. But quite frankly, most of my stuff is in small towns, so the crime's not an issue.
Understood. So I know you're a firm believer in automating things as well as you've done that with several of your real estate businesses. Why don't you tell us some of the ways you've automated your business?
Um, yeah, we've automated it with well, for example, we've got special tracking phone numbers. No matter where a lead comes in from, if it comes in from Craigslist or a bandit sign or direct mail or cold calling or whatever, if a lead comes in, it comes into a tracking number. And you can use something like CallRail or Freedom Voice or some of those. CallRail is a good one. It's got a very easy to use interface. But when a call comes in, it automatically goes into our CRM, our customer relationship manager software, which is Podio, and it automatically tags them as either a buyer or a seller, and we even know where the lead comes in. If you're a small investor and it's just you by yourself, one thing you can do, for example, let's say you set up a phone number at CallRail that you set it up as a seller lead direct mail, right? Or direct mail seller lead.
Hmm.
So with CallRail, when you set up these tracking numbers, you can set up what's called a call flow. It could go straight to Pat Live. It could go straight to your virtual assistant. It could go straight to your cell phone or straight to voicemail that you set up. Okay. So let's say you're just an individual and you want to have this go right to your cell phone. Okay. So what you do is you put that call tracking number in your cell phone as a contact record, like direct mail seller lead. And CallRail allows you in their back end dashboard, CallRail allows you to set your caller ID on every tracking number. It can either show the number that is calling you or it can show the number that they are calling, right? So I always have it set for the number they are calling, not the number they're calling from, because I'm going to capture their number anyway because it goes right into my CRM, right?
Yep.
So when my phone rings and it's a direct mail seller lead, my phone pops up. You know, Ryan, if I call you, right, it's going to pop up and say Larry Goins, mobile, right?
Yep.
So if if a direct mail seller lead calls you, the caller ID is going to show what I put in my contact record, which is direct mail seller lead. So I know that it's a direct mail seller lead, so I can answer the phone and be ready and act accordingly, right? I know who it is before I ever answer the phone. That's awesome, isn't it?
That is awesome. That's amazing. So elaborate a little bit more on that. Tell us how you use your virtual assistants and why they're important.
About virtual assistants.
Yeah, why do you think they're important?
Um, well, virtual assistants are very, very important because you can get a virtual assistant to do virtually anything, right? For a very, very, very low price. For a very low price. In fact, a virtual assistant, they can take calls, make calls, place ads, promote your business. They can do all different kind of things that you don't even have to hire an in-house employee to do, right? There's just so many things that a VA can do. You can have them cold calling for you, screening calls, building your buyers list. I mean, my gosh, the list goes on and on and on, right? They can take calls, as I mentioned, make calls, make offers, design flyers, build your buyers list, post free ads, answer ads, search for deals, analyze deals. They can basically do anything and everything that you can do, right?
Absolutely. So I know you've done this over and over for years. Tell us some of the ways that investors can finance deals without their own money.
Wow, that's a great, great question. In wholesaling, you don't typically need financing, but people using their self-directed retirement account or ESA or HSA at CamaPlan, you know, they want to invest for the long haul, not just do short-term deals, right? So they've got to do, uh, they can use private money. They can partner with people. They can be a private money lender, right? But some of the ways they can finance deals are cash partners, credit cards, uh, what do you call it, non-recourse lenders for their CamaPlan account.
Hmm.
Because when you're borrowing money with a self-directed account, it's got to be what's called a non-recourse loan. And there's a whole list of those lenders out there. In fact, I think you guys even have a list of them, and I do as well,
Yep.
of non-recourse lenders.
Yeah, I mean, private lending's become pretty popular over the past few years.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question about it. There's no question about it. That's for sure.
So, how do our listeners learn more about day trading in real estate?
Well,
I know we can't give them everything here today, but go ahead. Sorry, Larry.
no, that's okay. No, if they want to get a copy of my book, they could call my office and speak with Zenobia, and she will get them a free copy of Getting Started in Real Estate Day Trading, along with some other training. And all they have to do is call a toll free number 877 Larry Go 877. Write it down right now 877 Larry Go, and that's for the free investors kit.
Okay, just in case somebody asks me there. Well, I appreciate you giving us all this information, Larry. Is there anything you'd like to add, or something we didn't touch on?
Um, I think I just want to say that regardless of where you are in your investing career, the main thing is just to take action. Just take action and make it happen. Get the education and information that you need and move forward and take action. And you always have to be growing. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. There is no staying still. You're either moving forward or backwards.
And can you also tell our listeners, in case they want to tune into your Bragg radio show, where they can do that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we have a show called Bragg Radio. It stands for Be Rich and Generous, as well as Brain Picker Pro, where we interview other people as well. And I've interviewed Carl a couple times, but we they can go to LarryGoins.com, LarryGoins.com, or call toll free 877 Larry Go and get their investors kit.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time and giving us this information today. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to contact me at 215-283-2868, or you can email me personally at rfisher@camaplan.com. That's RFISCHER at camaplan.com. And look forward to hearing from you guys. Any questions you have about self-directed IRAs and using those funds in real estate, we're glad to help you. And Larry's glad to give you information on different real estate opportunities that you can get into. Thanks again
Absolutely.
for being with us here today, Larry.
Thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Bye bye,
All
everybody.
right. Thank you. Bye bye.